Hello, viewers. I was gonna try and convince you that I'm the most boring person in the world today by picking up a package with a bird watching book in it, but it didn't come today, so that plan's kind of ruined. So instead, I will be telling you a funny little aside about what happened to me at the bank the other day. So I had initially said it was a pretty easy experience at the bank the other day, and that was partially true, at least at the time of my recording it. So here's what happened. I go into the bank. I have my application out. I'm ready to hand it to him. I get stopped by a security guard. So I show the security guard my application, and I say, "Hey, I have an application." And he goes, "Oh, you see that lobby over there?" And he points to a lobby, and off to my side is a little lobby, but it's chained off. The entrance is chained off to the lobby. He goes, "Yeah, you need to go to that lobby, but you have to go around the building to the other entrance to get in." So I go, "Oh, okay." So I go around the building, go into the other entrance. I get stopped by a security guard. I tell him, "Hey, I have an application." He goes, "You can go in." So I go inside. I get stopped at the front desk. I show them my application. I say, "Hey, I have an application." And they go, "Oh, that's great." So they give me a number. They take me to the waiting area. They sit me down. And I wait a few minutes. And eventually this nice lady comes up and, she calls my number. I go over. She helps me fill out my application and everything. I turn it in. And then I'm on my way. And I think, all right, that was a little annoying. But it could have been worse. So I finish recording my vlog, and I start heading back. And on my way back, I get a phone call, and it's the lady who had just helped me fill out my application, and she goes, "Hey, I'm really sorry, but I need your signature for this one last thing that I completely forgot about. If you're still in the area, can you come back to the bank?" And I said, "You know what, I'm still in the area, sure. I'll be there in a few minutes, no problem." So I head back to the bank. I get stopped by the security guard. I tell him, "Hey, I just got a phone call. They need my signature for one last thing for my application." And he goes, "Oh, okay, well, you can go in." So I go inside. I get stopped at the front desk. I tell him, "Hey, that lady over there in that room just called me. She said she needs my signature for my application, which I just dropped off like not even 10 minutes ago. Her room is empty. Can I just go on back in there and, fill out this one thing?" And they go, "I understand." They give me a number. They take me to the waiting area. They sit me down, and I wait a few minutes. And eventually, my number gets called again. I spend all of 30 seconds filling out that last thing, and then I'm on my way again. So yeah, long story short, for a country all about organization and efficiency, German bureaucracy sucks. But it's okay. No problems, because as you can see, a few days ago, I got this letter from Commerzbank, and I finally got my bank account set up. So that is a major success that we weren't able to accomplish in the last vlog. But anyways, today is Friday, which means today is the day that I leave for Amsterdam. I don't leave until 11 p.m. tonight, so I've still got a little bit of time to pack my bag here with some of the essentials. Don't know exactly what I'm going to bring, because it's not like I'm staying in a hotel room, and I'm probably just going to be sleeping on the bus, I think is what they said. So I got to figure out some clothes to bring, or spare change of clothes if necessary, and really just figure out what's necessary and what's not. So yeah, that'll be fun. All right, I am officially packed and on the way. I'm sure the boys would have some rusted root for me if they were with me right now, but oh well. Anyways, I will probably minimize the amount of footage that I take while on the way, just so I can cram as much footage into actually, as much footage of Amsterdam as I possibly can in this vlog without it being excessively long. I have no idea how much footage I'm going to record tomorrow, but just in case. I don't know what they're doing down there, but it looks like they're having a fantastic time. So, good to see. returned to Stuttgart Airport a bit sooner than I thought I would. But for good reasons. So it's all good. Well, it's been a mostly uneventful trip so far, but I woke up this morning and I could immediately tell we were in the Netherlands because all the trees are a bit crooked and all the road signs were in Dutch. Anyways, I have now arrived at Sansa Shans, and you can take that pronunciation with a grain of salt. And it is, as you can see, very beautiful. It's a bunch of windmills and little wooden houses from the 19th century that have been moved here since 1959. So it's a very traditional looking and feeling little Dutch village just north of Amsterdam. Very cute and very cool. Just ridiculously beautiful. Somewhere down that way, I think, is Amsterdam. So we'll get to that eventually. I mean, just wow. Anno 1672. So if that means what I think it means, then not only is this windmill older than most countries, but it is exactly 350 years old this year. So, happy anniversary, Mr. Mullen. One more shot for you guys. Oh yeah. Alright, well, Sansa Shans was very cool, but now it is time for part 2 of today's trip to Amsterdam. That being Amsterdam.
Se controluce non ti verrà mai.
Non molto, era molto inquietante. Io volevo anche tedesco però.
Ci vedo. Cioè sono tipo degli autobus.
Sì, è tipo cioè non è.
Alright, after a very cool canal tour, which I almost missed, I have about 45 minutes to get to the first of my touring destinations. There are actually several places I wanted to visit in Amsterdam. But unfortunately the tickets were sold out for the Van Gogh Museum and the Anne Frank Huis. But I did get tickets to the Rijksmuseum. Hey, this is Drayton. I just found out that it's actually pronounced the Rijksmuseum and not the Rijksmuseum. I was saying it wrong the entire trip. Okay, back to the video. As well as the Heineken Experience. So those are the two places I will be going today, for sure, and we'll see about everything else. Love the aesthetic of this city, by the way. Old mixing with new in a way that is mostly European. I should probably mention, I don't really know where I'm going. I have a vague idea of where I'm supposed to go and a vague idea of where I am, but how to get there, no clue. So hopefully I can get there in time. Alright, I made it to the Rijksmuseum and in just enough time. God, this is a really nice looking part of town. If I had done a little more thinking, I probably would have picked out different shoes to wear. But, oh well. Nice. Now, I've been to some nice museums in my life, but this museum itself is a work of art. I mean, this is just ridiculous. And beautiful. That too. Well, I would say that was ridiculously cool. I'm unfortunately leaving a bit early because I need to go find some food, but that was just really neat. Seeing some paintings in there that you've definitely seen before is just a really cool feeling, especially when it's by artists like Vermeer or Rembrandt, like names you've definitely heard before as well. Not to mention they have all sorts of stuff in the museum, like porcelain, doll houses, weapons and armor, model ships, unnecessarily expensive looking furniture, and not to mention do they have a huge variety but also a massive quantity of each of those things as well. So honestly, long story short, I spent a little over an hour in there, and I kind of rushed through everything, and I still barely saw a fraction of what they have to offer. So yeah, definitely plan a little more than a couple hours if you plan on visiting the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. Very, very cool place. So yeah, now I'm going to try and find something to eat because at the moment I am quite tired and quite hungry. And if I go into Heineken feeling tired and hungry, then that is just a bad combination waiting to happen. So yeah, I'm gonna focus on that. And I forgot to mention, but of all the paintings in the museum, my favorites, despite all the Rembrandt and Vermeer and stuff, favorites were definitely the ones with windmills in them. I wonder why. Something to eat has been procured. I went to a Dutch supermarket and found a wrap, as well as Dutch yoo-hoo. So we'll give that a try in just a sec. Alright, can confirm the Dutch yoo-hoo is in fact a Dutch yoo-hoo. So there's food review number 4. I don't know if you can read that, but it says Heineken Brewery in Dutch. So, and it's about time for us to go in. Very exciting. Well guys, I am kind of sorry to say that the Heineken experience was not quite what I wanted it to be. The first half of it felt like a fairly, I don't know, fairly tame museum in regards to Heineken's history and how to make beer, and I don't know, that was kind of cool, I guess. And then the rest of it just turned into a giant advertisement for Heineken, and I was not as much of a fan of that. So yeah, I left pretty quickly after I finished with my mostly self-guided tour. So yeah, very unfortunate. Also, it didn't last nearly as long as I would have wanted it to. In fact, I've still got another like 5 hours until I need to be back to the bus before we leave. So I am going to do a little more exploring around Amsterdam while I still have the time. I mean, it's an absolutely beautiful city, and I'd be very disappointed with myself if I didn't take advantage of this opportunity. So I'm gonna do that. So yeah, the Heineken experience. I mean, if you like Heineken, or if you like beer, might be able to recommend it, but definitely can recommend the Rijksmuseum. Huge, just 10 out of 10. Awesome, should be visited at least once. Super cool. So now I am at Vandal Park, which is essentially Amsterdam's equivalent to Central Park. I don't know how it compares size-wise, but at least feels on par with Piedmont Park in Atlanta. So it's very, very cool area. Just sitting here, it's got me feeling like I really like Amsterdam. This is just a really cool looking city. A lot of cool architecture. I feel like there's a lot to do, and I'm just barely scratching the surface in terms of things to do in Amsterdam. So, yeah, it's a shame I only have today, at least for now. But I could definitely spend a few days and just kind of chill and walk around the city and explore. And I'm not saying I can read Dutch, because I certainly can, but there's a lot of Dutch words that are very similar to German or English words. So I think I'd at least be able to figure my way around. That's been one of the cooler things in the, I don't know, 10 hours I've been here, is seeing what Dutch words I can read. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna chill right here for a minute, and then get back to exploring in the few hours I have left. Like, I'm really tired and achy right now. I've been walking a lot today, and I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do for the next 4-ish hours, but I'm just in a really great mood right now. I think this is just such a beautiful city. I didn't know there was freaking canals in Amsterdam. Like, I probably should have guessed, because the Netherlands is a very, low-lying, flat country. But I don't know, I just didn't think of canals when I think of Amsterdam. But gosh, what a really genuinely beautiful city. Well, I don't get to go inside, but I do at least get to see the Anne Frank Huis. So, yeah, very cool. I would say that when I next come to Amsterdam, and I do hope there is a next time, that is top of my list, alongside the Van Gogh Museum. Those are the two I want to see most. And now, it's Lego time. There are Lego sets here that I have never seen before. Not to mention that is pretty cool. I changed my mind. This is even crazier. This is just, you got little minifigures too. This is so cool. I don't know why I'm even surprised at this point. Lego always goes just above and beyond for these major city stores. Like, this is really cool. Awesome. All right, after doing a little bit of shopping, some for souvenirs and some for otherwise, most stores seem to be closing. This is the Palace, by the way, or at least I believe it's the Palace, but it's a very nice square. As you can see, very cool, very fancy, very European looking and feeling. I think I've still got like 2 hours or something like that until my bus is supposed to be leaving, so I have no idea what I'm going to be doing until then. So, wish me luck. Alright guys, it's been close to another hour. I've just been wandering around these shopping districts, but unfortunately not much is open. Stores in Amsterdam seem to close really early, like 6, 7, 8 o'clock even, which is really early considering it's a Saturday, in my opinion at least. So that's a little weird, but anyways, I'm starting to get really tired, so I might just have to sit down and take it easy for this last little bit before I head back to the bus. Now, while I was out wandering, I did happen to find the red light district, which I was in fact searching for. And if you would like to know why I was searching for it, well, first of all, I don't think I have the money to procure any of these services being offered there, if that's what you're asking. The reason is I consider at least the red light district to be a fairly say well-known and perhaps even iconic part of Amsterdam, and it is not a place that you will see in many other cities. And so, in my opinion, it is worth visiting, for me at least, being someone of my age, to go and see what it is like, because that is not something I have ever seen before, and it is unlikely I will see that in many other places. So yeah. And in case you're wondering, no, I did not get any footage or pictures of the red light district. because there are very strict penalties in place for anybody caught taking photos of the workers, and I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. So yeah. And I did think it was kind of a cool experience. I didn't stay there long because I wouldn't exactly consider exploring that area to be well within my comfort zone. So I left pretty quickly, but I think it was a cool and interesting experience nonetheless. So while I'm relaxing before I head back, I'd like to share with you guys some interesting information I found out about Amsterdam and the Netherlands in general today. First of which is the fact that Amsterdam is the bicycle city. I feel like I'd heard this somewhere before, but after coming to Amsterdam today, I realized quite apparently that bicycles are by far the most popular form of transportation throughout the city. They have their own designated lanes, and there's special rules, very strict rules in regards to who gets right away and how they're supposed to be ridden. So it's very, very strict over here, and very curious how they have a system built around it. And one of our tour guides even stated that supposedly there are more bicycles in the city than there are people, which is a statistic I find equally concerning and fascinating. Second regards these houses, as I'm sure many of you have noticed, there is a front facade on pretty much all of these houses that you may have seen either in Sans and Sean's earlier today, or you're noticing it here now that I'm bringing it up. And oftentimes the facade of the house goes up above the roof, but in Amsterdam especially, the facade of the house is not usually vertical. It usually hangs out over the sidewalk a little bit. And the reason for that is, as you can see, the houses here are incredibly thin. Because the thinner the house is, the less tax that you have to pay, or at least that's how it used to be. But also, the thinner the house, the thinner the staircase, and so it's harder to move things up and down stairs in these houses. So, the most common way to move things between floors over here is to hoist them outside, out your window, and move them up and down. And a facade that hangs over the sidewalk makes that easier. And then number 3 isn't so much a fact, I would say, as something I've observed about the Netherlands as a whole. Tesla is like stupid popular over here. There seem to be, at least in Amsterdam, a disproportionately high number of electric cars to normal cars. I mean, definitely compared to the US at least. But even within the electric cars, there are just a ton of Teslas. Like, I have seen more Teslas today than I would see in easily a week in the US, and I think that I have seen at all in my 3 weeks in Germany. It's just, I don't know what they're doing, but whatever. Elon, whatever you're doing, the Dutch love it, so keep it up, buddy. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, my Amsterdam vlog is at a close. Thank you very much for joining me. I had a absolutely just fantastic trip. It was a pretty uneventful ride back, but overall, it's been a very, very phenomenal 30-ish hours. I had just a ton of fun. I didn't really know what to expect out of Amsterdam, but it is genuinely such a cool city. And if you saw either Amsterdam or Sans and decided that you now want to visit it, then I will consider my job well done. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the vlog, and until next time, take care.